Hey everyone, welcome to my Saturday stream. I haven't done this in ages, but I'm gonna be working on some coding problems and doing some live coding with you guys. It was a bit of a hassle to set this up all on one screen on my laptop, but bear with me a moment. Um, I will need to open up my chat on my phone and kind of look at chat there, but I should be in the clear. So just bear with me. Um, for a quick moment. No, I did not want to do that. By the way, I need to learn how to make shoutouts. Okay. Um, just go home. Let me reopen Twitch. Sorry. Yeah, okay. Everything is still functioning here. My channel. I'll just open up the chat. I think the viewer is me. Cool. Yeah, I'm in the clear. So, sorry if I'm a little slow on chat, but I will be trying to keep up with it on my phone, and I don't know how popular live coding will be. My setup is a little cleaner than what it was in the past with live coding. So I'll tell you where I am. I mean, I am a coder professionally. I have coded in Python for many, many years, and now I code in SQL for work. But every now and then, I feel, especially when things are slow at work, I feel the urge to um, work on some coding problems just to stimulate my thinking hat. And for those who know a lot about coding, great. For those who don't, I'll explain some things here and there, but this isn't meant to be a tutorial in coding. This is just, hey, sit and code along with me. Totally open to hints, totally open to suggestions, because some of this stuff is rather hard. So yeah, let's do this. And I am kind of um, locked into a couple different domains. So I really wanted to practice my data structures. And so one is tree. So I've done a lot of trees, and I'm taking a pause there, and I want to work on linked lists for a little bit. Yeah. So I want to work on linked lists. And by the way, please give me a heads up if something is funky with the stream. I'm assuming this works fine because I'm looking at my stream on my phone, and I believe everything is fine. Um, but yeah, I haven't done this in ages, and when I used to do it, it was a bit funky. So hopefully things will be fine and dandy. So let's see. I've done some basic linked list stuff, like as you can see, what I have solved in these areas here. Printing everything, inserting a node at the tail, at the head, inserting it in the middle. And where I am now is deleting a node. And yeah, I have my code here. I'll run it. I know I'm just kind of jumping in. And I have a little bug where I can't solve a corner case. And by the way, I had some Indian food earlier. And yeah, so I'm a little slow. I am stuffed with food. I am very, very stuffed with food. And let me just make sure my test chat works. Because, it's a new format for me. And coding isn't like my main thing, but who knows? If this has popularity, I will do this more. I love to kind of code, professionally and for fun. And I love kind of, again, it's not a tutorial, but I love kind of explaining my methodology to other people. I would have at one point majored in computer science, but I minored, actually gave up the minor instead. Yeah, so please follow along, enjoy, and yeah, let's get to it. So as you can see, I passed their first two sample cases, um, but when I submit the code, I fail one of these test cases. You'll see in a second. This takes a little while to come out. So test case two didn't work, and it's a hidden case, but I've unlocked it. And so let me also explain. I will be explaining what I'm working on. Sorry, I also have a nicotine lozenge in my mouth. I've quit smoking as of 2 days ago. So, as of yesterday. So, I'm using prescription methods to stave off cigarettes. So, hooray for me. But right. So, and a little side rant. I was thinking about actually doing a legit like live coding project, but that's a lot of work. And I'm gonna start a live coding project with a friend, and yeah, don't really want to do that just yet. Um, so right, the idea is to delete. You're given a linked list, as you can see here, like 26 2 all the way to 9. It's a linked list, and you're given a position. You have to delete. So position is 3, and you delete the. Technically, it's the fourth node at 0 base. So 0, 1, 2, 3. You would delete the 19. As you see in the final list, 19 is gone. Um, and I've solved all the cases with my code here, except the case when you're deleting the very first node. And it makes me think because so as you can see here, it starts on 7 is that you have 7 nodes. Starts on 11, 12, goes through 18, and then position 0 here. That means you are deleting the first node, the 0 base node, which is 11. And I failed that. It doesn't actually show my output, but well, I can upload. Let's see. Let me download. I don't want to mess around with my Safari, but I can upload and download a custom test case, and I'm assuming I'm failing. So before I do that, let's just assume I'm failing this. Like I get something else. Who knows? Maybe I'm not doing this. So to look into my code, I made I make a reference to list called current node, which becomes the new list, actually. It passes by reference. And so current node, I also keep track of my last node. But if my position is 0, previous node, which in this case would still be both current and previous, start at 11. Um, I would make my previous node 11, the next node of current, which is 12. Yes, I skip 11, but I don't actually skip. Oh, I insert and delete. Well, deleting is also just you don't actually delete anything from a linked list. I do want to spend some time on it. I'm not going to spend the whole stream debugging this, but I want to give this a solid shot because I'm so close. So that could be it. It could be that nothing actually gets shifted around, deleted. And in my other cases, it works though. So in my default cases, it's something like this. Previous node is just the next node. And this should work for position 0 as well. Previous node, let's look at this case. So current node is 19, previous node is 2. Previous node next points to 7. And that's it. You break and you return list. That's what I do for position 0. Previous node points to my next node. So let's look at this. Position 0, I'm sure it's position 0 at first. Current node points to 11. Previous node points to 11. Should I set? One thing I could do, I could just set previous node to list. Then previous node. Right. So the thing is here, I never. Right. Previous node never actually gets swapped out, whereas here it does. Because they start previous node. Imagine there was like a 5 here. Previous node would be 5 and then it points to 12. Here, I just make previous node point to 12. Nothing gets shifted. Um, yeah. Why don't I do this? It's a super easy case, actually. I'm overthinking this. If position is 0, list equals list.next. That's all. I swear that's it. I put that on the very top. Right, because previous node, actually, nothing changed, I believe. I'm not explaining the fine details, but I'm just setting a list to whatever it starts, whatever the next one is. I'm skipping one over from the start. So that's what I'm going to do. list just starts with the next node. I return list. In all the other cases, I go this way. And technically, I could start at 1 because I've already handled the 0 case. But I actually need to start with the 0 case for the other ones. The iteration still counts, I believe. I know I'm explaining fast, so if you don't know coding, you're not going to get what I'm saying. If you know coding, you'll get what I'm saying, and just feel free to like slow me down at any moment, um, and I will clarify. So feel free to write in the chat. I would even, if I form my own Discord, I'd be happy to get into voice, but I ain't doing that now. Okay, let's keep our fingers crossed. So let's make sure the first two cases work. They still should. Yes. Fingers crossed, case two works. It has to, but let's not get overly confident. Yes, awesome. I did it. I was overthinking it. I was just thinking somehow I would be deleting that node, but I wasn't. I was actually just like moving along without skipping over. That's what happened. Yeah. I mean, this didn't take so long because I was mostly done with it, but let's keep going along linked list. There's still plenty. I just like to do what they say, so print in reverse. I wonder if I should copy and paste my code from, yeah, print in reverse. I mean, I get the idea. 1, 2, 3, null. You basically keep track of it. Do you print or you return? You print, you don't return. That makes it easier because you don't need to be. So you just traverse the linked list and append to an array at the end. You can either or just traverse an array at the end. Oh, let's do this. I'm gonna use my intuition. Reverse list. I'll make an array called reversed list, and it's an array. And I'm just gonna append forward. So I still traverse the linked list as I would and when I code, I small challenges like this. I don't plan an exact algorithm. I have a vague idea of what I'm doing. I'm iterating, and I kind of then tweak it here and there. So for I in range, no, not for I in range, while I still need a current node. Current node equals a list. That will be the head. While, and I'm not even looking at corner cases, but I don't think there are. Yeah, everything's just in reverse. Yep. Is it? Wait, do I do more? Oh, there's test cases within. one single thing. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't affect my function. Pretending this is just one case. And I'm printing here. While current node does not equal null or none. This does kind of want me, I do kind of want to do a Python project with this. I'll see how this goes for like an hour or so. I know I don't necessarily get, I'm not new to Twitch, but I'm kind of at the beginnings of my growth in followers. I'm very grateful to be at 63 followers now and an affiliate, but still, um, this stuff takes time. Takes time. Um, I might go back to trees. Um, yeah. Okay. Current node equals that list. Right. Because sometimes you might have a null list. No, you won't get a null list. So I could just start with data. List.data. No, I need to actually point to the reference of the list. That allows me to traverse. And it passes by reference, not by copy, which you kind of need with linked lists. So, reverse list dot append current node dot data. Then you advance the node. Current node dot next. Oops, current node equals current node dot next. Now I'm not going to traverse backwards. I'm just going to reverse my indices. So for I in range, and if you know what I'm doing, you know what I'm doing. If you don't, you kind of don't. So yeah, yeah. For I in range, um, yeah, for I in range, um, yeah, rather going from -1 to 1, I will start at 1 to length plus 1. Length, oh, right. I don't know the length. I do know the length because I can keep track. But I can also just, wait, no, I do know the length. I do know the length. Of course, it's the length of the array now. Length reversed list plus 1 because it's 1 based. So if you have an array of 3 and it's in reverse, you go -1, -2, -3. Right. And this would be 1 to 2, so you add 1. Again, I'm skipping over Python fundamentals. I'm kind of just going with the flow here. This isn't quite tutorial based. It's more of a hey, let's talk about concepts. If you join me in chat, we'll talk about concepts. Um, yeah. And excuse me, I'm just gonna get some water. As I mentioned earlier, I had that Indian food and it is making me feel kind of heavy. Kind of heavy indeed. Yeah, I stuffed myself. And then print reversed list -I. because I'm going from -1 to -2, -3, however long that list is. Let's see. Let's see. I'm feeling confident about this one. Yeah, it already worked. Let's submit. But look, if you want me to explain some of the basics, I'd be happy to. Like, if you're a pure beginner or haven't coded before, you just want to ask, yeah, I completely passed it in less time than it took me to debug the other one. I'm just gonna keep rolling along. Oh, it didn't actually save. No, are you kidding me? Okay, submit. It didn't save. You have to wait like an extra 5 seconds. So yeah, if you are a pure beginner and you feel like just like me slowing down and be like, hey Pete, what's this? What's that? I'll be more than happy to explain even the most basics of the basic things. Okay, cool. We have to wait until this little congratulations box pops up. Um, yeah. So moving along. Um, oh, print in reverse, now reverse a linked list. Okay. Yeah, all you really need is a linked list. So you just make a second linked list. And supposedly there are no null lists. But there can be. But I will still make a corner case for that. I'm kind of used to making corner cases, but I start without the corner case. So, right, but as far as reversal, goes, well, I make a reverse array. I could do the thing I did before, make an array in reverse. Yeah, this is where I have to think about this a bit, and that's what I want to do. I don't want to be literally just typing. I want to be thinking about interesting concepts without looking things up much online. I want to be learning the algorithm. Right. I can't realistically traverse at the end, but I can use my array method. Let me copy and paste my code from the array. Let's see if it's still there. No, it delete. Well, you just do this. It's in your sub. It gets saved in your submissions. Whoops, that's not here. Print in reverse. Yeah, I have this here. So I will use the same list technique. And rather than printing, I will just append to a linked list. So that's why these problems, you don't have to do them in order, but there's a nice sequence if you do them in order. They slowly build up upon each other. So starting everything from here, and I'll only keep this print sign. Above this for loop, I will make a new list called reverse list. Reverse, I'll call it backlist. I'll call it R list for reverse. R list. L list and R list equals singly. Do I have to create an initial node? No, because it's a null. Oh, but how do I? Wait, okay. Singly linked list, yeah. Do I need this? Probably. It's complaining about my indent. So let's try that. So rather than printing, I go backwards, but append our list. The head isn't null though. I have to set that initial no though. Our list dot data or dot next. Huh. It's that first node that is different. No, it shouldn't be. Okay, so let's just do this. Let's pretend. Let's just assume I can do dot next from the start and see if it complains. It's probably if it breaks right away. That's actually good because I know that's an easier thing to debug. It just tells me I implemented the linked list the wrong way. So, um, so, 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 um, um, but it has to be a node. This still has to be a node for sure. Um, I don't know how to be defining these lists, but let's look at the main function actually. Okay, our list, yeah, you first just create the list. There's an insert node function. Is that their function? See, I just don't know how the pointers are called. It's not that I don't get the concept. Right, each node has a data and a next. So I believe this is okay. You don't have to do dot data. You do this, but you do need to make a node, I think. And then return the R list. Well, let's just see. It's time to, oops, return R list. Let's just check this out. Man, I am feeling sleepy. It's all that food I ate earlier. Yeah, let's just see. I admit, if I was it, like this isn't the coolest thing I could be coding. If I was working on like a machine learning project, which I have a lot of experience with, and like doing things in Plotly and stuff, making graphs, that would have been cooler to look at. But I just don't. A, I wasn't ready for something like that today. B, it's like a lot of applications, and since I'm doing this all on a MacBook, like switching tabs would have been very kind of cumbersome and plus, I would have needed to pick a project, and it would have taken me some time to pick a project. So let's see. Let's see. Um, yeah, let me run this. So it didn't crash. It did crash. Okay. That's fine. That tells me what to kind of adjust. So it does need data. Singly list object. Is it my line 32? What is my line? Yeah. So I never made a data. So this line is fine. It's something wrong with this line. Okay, I think this isn't right. I think, yeah, this is okay. I'm just making a new list. Let's try this. But that might be it might not look like that I'm using next without an initial node because my initial thing is really like a null list. So let's do this. See, before I had all the nodes, it wasn't making sets of new nodes. So that's kind of the new challenge. Okay, dot data. Huh, that's not right either. Wait, but dot next, this isn't a node though. Let's just see. Yeah, this might be annoying to debug because I get the concept, I just don't get how the constructor of the linked list works. But I like spending my time. Okay, so this node has no attribute dot data. Right. But I've used, I think it's just equal. Yeah, data, right. Data isn't a constructor. Just like next, it's not a constructor. But how do I place data in a node? So what do I do here when I traverse it? Right, I'm just using next. But node, if the L list itself, the R list, hmm, I do want to think about this. Do I need to make an R list from scratch? What do they do here when they make L list? Let me see, because this will tell me. They make L list as a linked list. Right. And that's it. But there's an insert node. See, they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that. And they should. Or I didn't read the instructions closely. Okay, but they definitely have this. That makes sense. Just this insert node function. But they should have. I wonder if they actually want you I guess to like literally reverse the pointers. How would I do that? I go forward. Current node equals. If I have previous and current and previous. Yeah, I think this is better. There probably is a way to adjust the node directly, but at least I'm not getting anything. Okay, why line 32? So that's what it is. That's how you. Yeah, there's a node and there's a linked list. And then singly linked list. Yeah, you can use a function insert node. I don't have to worry about that. By the way, I can just use while node instead of while node does not equal null. Let me change this. While current node. Much more elegant. Right, I forgot about Pythonic stuff. I try to be as Pythonic as possible. It's like a sense of pride, but it's what makes Python beautiful, like in terms of people's golden practice approach. Making code nice and Pythonic. So it broke here when it was trying to write. Line 90. Also broke on line 90, probably. Yeah, right before it closed. I don't think my array approach is wrong. I should definitely be able to create a new list. So how do they do it in the end? How do they create a new list? I don't need the input. So this line 84 is how they do it. They insert node. Node data. Okay. What is node data? It's whatever the item is. That can be an int. I do. These are also ints. No, they're not. They're not. They are nodes themselves. Right. So I'm making right, and for printing, I guess that was fine. No, data. I append the data, and the data is an int. So why doesn't insert work? I need a little bit of help here. I need a tad bit of help. Oh man. Yeah. Um, 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 um. Well, let's look at their error message or understand this better. Line 32, singly list has no attribute data. Right. And it's not finding the data. But I use insert node. But I don't ever make new node. Insert node, insert node. Singly linked list. I do want to read this stuff. So this is created right, head and a tail. I don't have to worry about singly list node. Wait, wait, hold up. Something just hit me. Um, R list dot insert node, right. Not I never have to worry about singly list node itself. I just have to worry about insert. I don't think I have to worry about next either. I'm not traversing. So is data right? See, it doesn't complain about line 68, which is where I do the insertion. I also wonder, should I be just adjusting pointers directly? I don't think so. I mean, sometimes I take a peek at discussions. I'm gonna do that. This is a reverse function. So they make a new linked list right away. That's in Java. I would have loved if people didn't just post their code, but actually talk about their technique. You don't learn, and if you just copy and paste, you're not going to get something. And dissecting it, trying to understand what people wrote, isn't clear necessarily. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm just trying to get at something conceptual. Man, I'm stuck, but this does motivate me. I heard like a bang. I don't know what that was. Um, I should read this a little more carefully. They want me to manipulate the next pointers in place. I think they don't want a new list. That could very well be what the function's complaining about. It's looking for a list. All right, I am gonna scrap this. Most of this code has been copied and pasted anyway. This is interesting then. So how would I do this? There's no one. You start at one, and that immediately becomes the tail. You move to two. Oh, two dot next becomes one. Three dot next becomes two. Okay, you do want to change it in place. Okay, so you're still traversing, but you're swapping the pointer and you're making an extra node. So let me put in kind of the bulk code first without worrying about the corner case. While current node, so current node will always start with list. Current node, list. Now you have a pointer and it points to one. That's the head. While current node, that's much more elegant to write than while not equal none. While current node. So is it previous node or next node? Next node. Let's call this next node. Next node equals. Started off with current node. Maybe I'll do dot next right away. Except that doesn't match the corner case. So, okay, current node. Yeah, they want you to edit this in place, not make like a separate array. Yeah, okay. Just thinking through. This does make your head hurt a little bit, but in a good way. In a good way. Um, All right, let's just forget about like all little corner cases and just pretend I'm jumping into this while loop. While, so forget even about the while. How would this general swap look like? Next node, next node equals current node. You don't want to lose track of current node because you really need to traverse in order. Current node dot next. The current node stays the same. And then 1, 2 to 1. So next node dot next. Next node dot next equals current node. So now 2 goes to 1. Current node becomes 2. Next node becomes 3. And then 3 goes to 2. I think. And then current node becomes 3. So let me just go through this one by one. Alice starts at 1. So does current node. Next node becomes 2. Well, current node is still 1. Yeah. And then 2 points back to 1. So next node actually, right? So that kind of causes a flip, I believe. 2 goes to 1. Yeah. Meaning it's 2, 1, not 1, 2. But then current node becomes, current node never advances. So, right, I do need to advance current node then. Current node, 2 goes to 1. Well, current node is just next node. Next node, which is 2. So now current node is 2. Next node is 3. Then 3, next node after 3, it points back to 2. And then current node is 3. And then, except it's not null. That's the corner case. Like at the end, I'm ahead. Current node is next node. So current node is 3. If next node equals null, I break. You need a second condition. So that's the other condition. I could do while next node equals null. Does not equal none. Um, yeah. I mean, I'm an hour in almost, so I'll probably. I mean, to be honest, seeing as I don't really have much of a following for this stream, probably not so much interest. I'll do this problem, maybe another one or two, and probably head on out. I mean, this is fun for me, but I want to make it fun for others. And, that's me with streams. If I don't have much of a following after an hour, I kind of bounce or so. But maybe I won't. Maybe I'll keep pushing it. Also, unlike gaming, your head starts to hurt for a little bit. Um, yeah, your head hurts a little bit. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah. Current node is 3. Current node. Well, I still need null at the end, but I think that's implied. Current node that next. Next node is null. Next node is null, but current node is 3. So I'm gonna do this. If next node. First of all, let me run this without anything. It might be right. Oh, actually, no. I definitely. I wish there was like a stop. I definitely need to return outlist. Return outlist. I didn't realize this had to be in place, but actually, it's not that hard to do. Time limit exceeded. Yeah, because I didn't freaking return anything, probably. Or it's because it's an endless null. I need that escape. It becomes an endless loop. Current node never becomes null. Next node gets hung up. If this breaks, I'm putting in that if clause. Yeah. So, okay. We get to a point where current node is 3, next node is null. Then null points to null of null. In theory, you could do that, but yeah, so I'm gonna do this. If next node equals I'm just gonna do what is it? Not if not next node, so that means it's null break. Let's try this. That means you reach the end, which makes this while loop redundant, but you still need something. And since you can't really put while next node because you don't even define next node right away. Huh. Still doesn't like that. I think I need this if statement. I think I'm on the right track. But yeah. I must be doing something incorrectly. Let's just mentally go through again. I might jot this down on a piece of paper. So, right, current node points to L list. You start at 1. Then next node becomes 2, and I'm kind of reading off this. Next node becomes 2. The current node is still 1. Then current node, next node is 2. Next node dot next, which is no, current node, next node. I'm tripping myself up. Next node dot next, right? 2 becomes current node. 2 becomes current node. I mean next node. Hold on. The net 2 points to 1. That's kind of what we want, right? But it just points to 1. But 2 is still next node. Then next node, current node becomes 2. Right. You go to the next iteration. that passes because current node is not null yet. So current node dot next becomes next node. So the next node becomes 3. Then, right, the next node, then the next node of 3 becomes the current node, which is 2. So 3 points to 2. And that's it. I mean, I think this part is right, but the while loop is probably off. And then next node, current node, current node also becomes 3. That's fine. Current node is 3. That's okay. Um, so it's not the end, but it is the end. You can always do while current node. You know what? While current node dot next is not null, because current node is actually always one before. And if you get to the end, you're at null. Because you do reach 3, you're done. But have I edited a list? Yeah, I have. Current node is 3. You might have to return current node, not a list. I think either work because it's by reference. Yeah, but I'm going to return current node. So in theory, I should do while current node dot next because you're always what if you're one behind, like you've already completed that node. As soon as current node reaches the end, you're actually good. You don't need to traverse the next one. But I do current node dot next is null. You can do that. You can make next node a null node. But I say if not next node, I break it. So that would work as well. It's just as good. But you know what? Maybe it's something is outside of the list. First of all, let me remove this. I'll do two things at once and return current node. Should be the same. If this doesn't work, I am kind of awfully stuck. Yeah, I think it's processing too long. Why though? It's simple code. It's like O of 1. Why? Yeah, maybe I will be calling this a quits any moment. I mean, I did a solid hour of this. But why? I'll do a few more minutes of banging my head. I think my logic is elegant. It's, well, let's think outside of the box. Why loops can get caught in infinity? Not, but that should definitely work. Unless, hold on, I always set current node to a number. Current node never makes it to the next thing. So let's go through this one more time. So, yeah, right, current node is 1, next node is 2, then next node dot next is 1. Right. No, no, no. Yeah. Next node dot next is 1 now. And then current node is now 2. So something in theory could be wrong with this. Let me repeat that once more. And I'm writing this on a piece of paper as I'm doing this. Writing it on a piece of paper. Excuse me. Something probably is off with my logic. But they wanted the pointers adjusted in place. So current node is 1. Next node is 2. Current node is still 1. Next node dot next. So we start, the beginning is next node. Next node dot next is 1. That's what we want. We want 2 to go to 1. Next node dot next is 1. And then current node is next node, which is 2. But current node dot next is 1 again, not 3. That's what keeps it infinite. I figured out the infinity, and it's even from one iteration. Right. Current node is 2, but if next node dot next is 1, and current node is next node, then current node dot next. Yeah, I'm headbanging. I don't think I can do this. It's too difficult right now. Probably gonna call it quits soon, but I think I figured out where I'm messing up. Current node dot next. Um, yeah, so right, current node, next node is 2. Then next of next, right. This is where things kind of break right here. Right, next node dot next equals 2. But 2 dot next node is 1. That's fine. We want that. We want next node to do that. But next node was right, and then next node was, and then current node. What was next node again? Not next node dot next, but next node was just 2. So current node does become 2. However, here's the problem. Though current node becomes 2, I've swapped, so that won't work because then current node.next becomes just like next node.next becomes 1 again instead of 2. Right, current node should have stayed at 2. Wait, where do I reset? Current node is next node. Next node is in fact 2. Oh, but current node.next is now 1. And next node shouldn't be 1. It should be 3. So I need like an additional node for basically an additional node that never moves back, always moves forward. So here, maybe I'll just bear with this for another couple minutes or so. Here, I'll call it fixed node. I'll put this at the start. It's like my current node, but current node is circular. Current node is kind of like the switch. Fixed node can never do this kind of switching current node. Too many nodes already, which makes me suspicious. Yeah, I'm literally giving this like a minute, and just seeing with this. Okay, so fixed node, right? That never gets changed. Let's say next node is at the end. Let's go through this one more time. Current node and fixed node are 1. Current node.next is 2, which becomes next node. Then next node.next becomes 1, which is the current node. Okay, rather than making current node next node, which is 2, because that will be circular logic, you make current node fixed node. Or you make fixed node dot next. Fixed node dot next the current node. Fixed node dot next. That's what needs to be there. That way current node will always reset. I think fixed node dot current node. Current node equals fixed node dot next. Current node equals fixed node dot next. And fixed node equals current node. It's an extra node that doesn't involve the circular logic. Node. Let's just see if this times out. Probably still will. And I'm gonna call it quits if it does. If it doesn't, well, I've learned something. I've learned something either way. I've learned I have an infinite loop that maybe got fixed, maybe didn't. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've done a few. Can't do this one yet. So, yeah, I mean, this is a little harder, not just because of this infinite loop, but because you're changing a linked list in place, which I haven't done. I've done insertions in place. Actually, everything was in place, like insertions, deletions. But this reversal, I mean, one thing to do is to go to like the very end Instead of trying to flip as I'm going along, reach the very end. See, there's no it's not a doubly linked list, which would have made it easier, which always has a next and a previous. It's a singly linked list. I mean, let me just take a peek. Reversing singly linked list. Like the concept. Let's check this out. They also use current and previous, just like me. See, this is what I prefer. For next time, I will read this a little bit. I'm actually just looking at the diagram. You have next previous. This diagram is making my head hurt, but it probably makes sense. I have to look. I have to look along with code. So let's see. Next, they're using like a pointer in their code. Literally something that's like a pointer symbol, an arrow. Probably because it's pseudocode. Okay, that's it. I'm calling this a quits. Um, I will try. Probably I'll stream something else. In my next stream. But yeah, I'm calling it a day for now. Thanks for tuning in.